Good morning, dear students. Welcome to online English classes DEO Nalgonda. Dear students, let's talk about a topic from Unit 1 today. Open up your textbooks and come on to page number 1, dear students. Come on to page number 1. So, dear students, on which Unit 1 begins. So, dear students, are you all there on page number 1, dear students? Yes, we are there in page number 1 now. Dear students, before going into the topic, let me ask you a simple question. If somebody is very lively, if somebody is very entertaining, if somebody is very active, he tells us jokes, he makes us laugh, he always is very lively. He tells us, very good jokes. He makes us laugh. Do you like the person more? Or if somebody is very sad, dull, inactive, he doesn't mingle with anybody, do you like this person more? Do you like the first person more or the second one? Yes, generally we tend to like the first person more because he is very lively. He tells us jokes because we like jokes very much. The important thing is we like jokes very much. Dear students, understand why do we like jokes very much? Why do we like jokes very much? Dear students, we discuss today reading A. Okay, the snake and the mirror. But before going into the topic, see, dear students, on the style sheet, a funny picture. A funny picture. Is it not funny picture? Yes, it is funny picture. Two cats, like human beings, they are playing chess. The cat on right side, it's trying to make moves very seriously. The other one is looking at it very seriously. It's a very, it's really amusing, isn't it, dear student? Yes. Even on the face sheet, we have another picture. See, what is the instruction written there? Look at the picture and answer the questions that follow. What is the picture? Look at this picture. Yes, in the picture, a funny thing, a funny picture. A monkey, it is looking at itself, at its own reflection in the mirror. It wears t-shirt and trousers. It also has makeup on its face. Really funny, really amusing, isn't it, dear students? Funny thing. So, what are the questions given, dear students? Understand. First question is, what would have prompted the monkey to look at its own reflection in the mirror? Why do you think the monkey is looking at its own reflection so seriously in the mirror? Because even we human beings, if we tend to look in the mirror our own reflection, we try to scan totally from top to bottom our own self, isn't it? So we touch upon hair, we touch upon our face, we adjust the dress, we look front and back, we try to look our own self reflection and totally observe from top to bottom, isn't it, dear students? The monkey, same way the monkey is also doing. The second question, what could be the monkey thinking at this point? Understand, what could be the monkey thinking at this moment? What do you think the monkey must be thinking? Just make an assumption. It's just assumption. Make an assumption. What must be the monkey thinking? Yes, it is trying to look at its own beauty. Maybe it is thinking, okay, I am beautiful. My eyes are beautiful. My face, my makeup is good. My eyes are, my ears are small. My nose is very small. My tail, my totally, from top to bottom, it must be appreciating its own beauty, isn't it? So, generally, what happens is if there is a mirror before us, we tend to forget surroundings. We totally focus on our own self, isn't it, dear students? It's a funny thing. Even with the monkey, the same thing is happening. There is a oral discourse, dear students. So, till now, what we understood is amusement or entertaining. We like it very much, isn't it? So, if somebody tells us jokes, we like him very much because we like jokes very much. Why do you think we like jokes very much? Because they are humorous. They are humorous. If something is humorous, because there is humor in it. Dear students, we are talking about the importance of humor in this unit, dear students. Understand, the name of the unit is humor. The title of the unit is humor. Are you all there, students? Humor. Humor is very important aspect of our life, dear students. And this, considering this humorous things, humorous story is given under reading A, the snake and the mirror, dear students. Okay, dear students, shall we go into reading A, dear students, a humorous story? Understand what is given as a story. So here under oral discourse, there is something written, dear students. Understand. Now read this story in which a doctor describes a snake that looks into a mirror. As just we discovered, now discussed the monkey looking at its own self, its own reflection. Here in this story also, a doctor describes a snake looking at its own reflection in the mirror, and the way he escapes the snake in a funny way, dear students, under reading A. Isn't it, dear students? Are you all there and reading A, dear students? The name of the topic is, the name of the story is The Snake and the Mirror. The Snake and the Mirror. Shall I read the story, dear students? Okay. Let's go ahead with the first paragraph, dear students. Has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? A full blooded cobra. All of us fell silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with the tale. Amo, the story, understand, here what is happening, dear student. A group of 4 or 5 people sat together. Among them, a doctor, a homeopath doctor. He asked a question when their topic went on to snakes. In their discussion came up the topic, snakes topic. When the topic of snakes came, a homeopath doctor started describing some incident in his life. So he asked all of them a dreadful question. What did he ask? Understand, students? Has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra, a full-blooded cobra, a snake, a venomous snake. Tajpam antam kada? Yes. Has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? Amo, understand? A snake coiling itself in any part of our body? We never imagined so. Coiling means rolling around our body, rolling around part of our body. So he asked this question. Everybody in the group fell silent because it's a dreadful question. Understand? Imagine if a snake coiling a snake around any part of our body, like hand, or to a leg, or to a neck, or on shoulder. Can we imagine that? But the doctor asked this question, dear students, and everybody fell silent. And they attentively, very seriously, they try to listen to what the doctor says. Okay, second paragraph, dear students. It was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. The sound was a familiar one. One could say that rats and I share the room. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. Dear students, he started describing what happened in his life. Once about, he started talking about a snake, with his experience with a snake one night. So he says, during one summer night, he says it was summer night at about 10 o'clock, night 10 o'clock. He was alone. He was staying in a room alone, and he outside he had his meal, his dinner, and he returned to his home, came back to his room, and when he was opening the room, he heard some noise inside. He heard some noise inside. He says it was a familiar noise. He says familiar means already known, తెలిసిన, ఏదో ఆల్రెడీ తెలిసిన సప్పుడులాగా అనిపించింది అనమాట. So a familiar noise, he thought, because he already knew that there were some rats inside his room. People say, generally his friends say, rats and he shared the room. That means he is living with rats in the room. That means there are so many rats in his room. So he thought that the sound was from, because of the rats moving here and there in his room. So he did not think that the sound was something different. So here, dear students, this was the room. The doctor was sitting on the chair. There is a kerosene lamp. He was sitting before the mirror in the picture, dear students. Okay. So it was a hot summer night. Let's read the second paragraph again, dear students. It was a hot summer night, about 10 o'clock. As he said, during summer, one day at 10 o'clock night, I had my meal at the restaurant meant hotel, and returned to my room. After having my dinner, I came back to room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. When I opened the door, I heard a noise from inside. Some noise, some kind of noise I heard when I opened the door, doctor says. The sound was familiar one, because the one could say that rats and I shared the room. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. So because there are so many rats inside, it must be rats moving. Because of this, there must be sound. Thinking so, he did not worry very much about that sound. Then he went inside and lighted the kerosene lamp, on the table, dear students. So this is what the setup of his room. Okay, dear students. Okay. Next paragraph under the picture, dear student. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase. Along with some shirts and dhotis, I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. So he talks about his living, a simple living in that room, dear students. What he says is the room was not electrified. That means there is no power supply in the room. There was no electric connection in the room, so there was no light. That's the reason why he lighted the lamp. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. So he hired a room. Hired means rented. He took a room for rent, and I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. So recently, so he opened up a medical practice nearby. అక్కడనే పక్కనే కొన్ని మెడికల్ ప్రాక్టీస్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిండు. అండ్ ఎర్నింగ్స్ మీన్స్ హిస్ ఇన్కమ్ వాజ్ వెరీ మీగర్. దట్ మీన్స్ వెరీ స్మాల్. His income was very small, very little amount he used to get from that medical practice, dear students. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase, along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. So he says, not much money with me. There are only 60 rupees in my suitcase, and also some clothes of mine, like shirts and dhotis. I also had one solitary means single. I also had one coat. That coat is not in the briefcase or not in the suitcase, but I was wearing the coat then. So when I entered the room, I was wearing the coat. Okay, dear students, the next paragraph. I took off my black coat, white shirt, and not so white vest and hung them up. I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard. It had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. There was no ceiling. There was regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air, but the wind god seemed to have taken time off. Dear students, when he entered the room, what did he do? He describes here. So, because he is alone, he is single, so he is living with meager income. He says when he entered the room, he took off his black coat. He said he was wearing black coat, right? So he took off the coat, and he was wearing a white shirt. He also took off the white shirt and also a vest. Vest means a banyan, not so white. It was washed very long back, it seems. He says. So then when he put off all his clothes, he opened the window, and the room was isolated one. It was facing open yard. The outside open yard. Open yard means khali pranta anmata. So it was isolated room. Very there was no room, no buildings before him or next to him, next to his room, dear students. Okay, so there was and the room, even the ceiling was also not roofed one. The roof is also not ceiling, like concrete, kind of concrete roof, the tiled roof, and supporting, there were beams, kind of angulars. That's how the roof is made of, uh, no tiles. And regular traffic of rats, many rats are the room is infested with rats move here and there very regularly. And he pulled out his bed. He tried to sleep, but he could not sleep, so he got up and went into the veranda for little air. But the air was also not air seemed to be, you know uh, very, it was not so windy, or it was not so, air seemed to be taken off. Then the third paragraph, next paragraph. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large a mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. So when he went out for little air but could not feel the air, so he came in, and when he was feeling to while away his time, he opened a book of his subject. The name of the book is the Materia Medica. Generally, when we don't get sleep, what we do is we do something to while away our time, to have time pass, isn't it? So he opened a book of his subject, and he sat on a chair on the table, next to the table. And on the table he has a lighted lamp, and before him there is a big mirror. Here in this picture you can see this description, dear students. So he sat on a chair, and on the table there is a book. What is the name of the book? The Materia Medica of his subject, isn't it? A lamp is lighted, and a mirror before him. There is a comb also, isn't it, dear students? Okay, let's move on to the next page, dear students. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near. I look. I took a look. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty, and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried and was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again, I heard that sound from the above. Dear students, so when there is a mirror before us, it may be any human being, he talks in general. If there is a mirror before us, what we do, generally we tend to look at our own reflection in the mirror. He also did the same thing. When he observed the mirror before him, he tried to adjust, he tried to touch upon his hair, and he thinks he is a handsome man. He always wanted to be handsome. He touched upon his hair, he adjusted his hair. Parting means, there's a gap. Papadi antam kada manam. Yes, he tried to adjust it, and he always wants to look handsome. That's what he says. I felt I had to make my presence felt. My presence felt means he always wanted to look handsome. He wants people to identify him and recognize him, or have a special attraction for him. So that's how when there is a mirror before him, generally he tends to do it, to touch upon his look. Okay, dear students. Next, I took a close look at my face in the mirror. He's still looking into the mirror for to see his reflection, dear students. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor. So he tried to look closer at his own reflection, dear students. He just moved little closer to the mirror and looked at its own face. So he tried to look at his own face and took a decision. What was the decision? There was little beard on his face. Then, looking at his own face, he decided to do a neat shave every day, neatly shaved, neatly shaved every day, and then mustache. Mustache means misal. వాటిని కూడా ట్రిమ్ చేసి నీట్గా ఉంచుకోవాలి థిన్ లైన్ ఆఫ్ మోస్టాచ్ హీ వాంటెడ్ టు హ్యావ్ దట్స్ హౌ హీ వాంట్స్ టు హ్యావ్ those neat shave trim mustache. These are the decision that he has taken when he looked at its own reflection nearer or closer. So because he thinks because he is a doctor and he thinks he must look handsome, and also he is a bachelor. Bachelor means unmarried man. Okay, dear students. Okay, I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth-shaking decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more. Dear students, while looking at his own reflection and trying to take decisions about his look, to have neat shave, to have trim mustache, then suddenly he heard the noise again. Okay, dear students, let's read the story again. Again came that noise from above. I got up, lit a beady, and paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. I would marry. I would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, she should not be able to run after me and catch me. Yes, students, when he heard the noise again, okay, he was not particular about the noise. Again, just while he was looking at his own reflection in the mirror, he is thinking about his life partner to get married. Okay, he lit a beedi, beedi, a smoking kind, cigarette beedi. That's how he lit a beedi and started looking at his own reflection in the mirror. Then he started thinking about his marriage also. He wanted to have a marriage. He wanted to get a woman, who is fat, who is fat enough. He wants to choose a woman who is fat enough to get a marriage. The reason is he also says that there is a valid reason, there is important reason behind that selection. he wants to have he wants to marry a fat woman. The reason is, if he does any mistake, she should not she cannot she could she must not be able to run behind him to catch him, was his reason. Okay, this is what his thinking process is. Next paragraph. With such thoughts in my mind, I resumed my seat in the chair in front of the table. There were no more sounds from above. Suddenly, there came a dull thud, as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Surely, nothing to worry about. Even so, I thought I would turn around and took a look. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. The snake's landing on me and my turning were simultaneous. Dear students, so while he was in this thinking process to get marriage and to have a woman who is fat enough for his marriage, so this while he was thinking this process, he came back to, he just sat in his resumed means he came back to his seat uh, and sat in front of the table. Then there were no sounds. Suddenly sound stopped, but all of a sudden, a dull, a thud sound, as if a rubber tube, rubber tube, when a rubber tube falls on a ground, the kind of sound. So the similar kind of sound he happened to hear. So a dull thud sound was there. Then he tried to look back. Then all of a sudden he could see a large, a snake, a snake wriggled around, wriggle means rolled around the back of the chair and slowly landed up, crept up onto his shoulder. Suddenly, so till now he could hear some sounds, but all of a sudden he could see just behind him a snake wriggled around a chair and slowly crept onto his shoulder. He could not move. There was no such time that he could escape. Just all of a sudden, no sooner, that's what he says, no sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. No sooner, ఇట్లా చూడకముందే చూసి చూడకముందే స్నేక్ రిగిల్ అరౌండ్ కింద చైర్ చుట్టూ చుట్టుకొని, just he has no time, no single second of time so that to escape. Just from that chair it crept onto his shoulder. Then he became like a onto his shoulder. Understand? A snake crept onto his shoulder without his knowledge. All of a sudden, it happened all of a sudden. So it happened. The snake's landing on me and my turning over simultaneously. It happened simultaneously. Just he was looking back, then the snake came onto his shoulder. Both the things happened simultaneously together, dear students. Okay. See here in this picture, you can see a snake cobra, touch palm. See, let's discuss rest of the topic in the next class, dear students. Good morning, dear students. Welcome to online English classes DEO Nalgonda. Dear students, in the last class, we are discussing reading a story, a funny story, The Snake and the Mirror. Isn't it, dear students? The Snake and the Mirror. So, we read this story and understood the doctor's description about his experience when he had a snake suddenly in his room. Isn't it, dear student? A snake. So he was sitting in the chair in front of a table, and the snake wriggled around the chair. And suddenly, while he was looking back, it came onto his shoulder and crept onto his shoulder. It was all of a sudden happened. He says, "No sooner than I looked back, had I looked back, the snake crept onto my shoulder." He says, "Isn't it, dear students? నేను ఇట్లా వెనక్కి చూస్తూ చూడకముందే the snake suddenly it came onto my shoulder," he says. Isn't it, dear students? Okay, let's continue with the topic, rest of the topic, dear students, rest of the story, dear students. Okay, on page number 5, dear students, suddenly what happened? A snake crept onto his shoulder. That was clear to us. Then understand his condition, his state of mind. What did he do? Let's see now. Shall I read this? Okay. I didn't jump, I didn't tremble, I didn't cry out. There was no time to do any such thing. The snake slithered along my shoulder and coiled around my left arm above the elbow. The hood was spread out, and its head was hardly 3 or 4 inches from my face. Dear students, the snake crept onto his shoulder, and suddenly, do you think he is able to jump, tremble, or cry out? No, he could not do any such thing because the snake is almost on his body, on his shoulder. So he could not have, he could not do any such thing. That's why he says, I did not jump, I did not tremble. Tremble means shiver. I did not cry out, I did not shout. That means I did not shout because there was no time to do any such thing. The snake is on my shoulder, so I could not do. There was no such time to do anything, to try, to cry, to jump, or to cry, to shout. I could not do it. The snake slithered along my shoulder and coiled around my left arm above the elbow. Oh my God! See, when he could not jump, when he could not shout, when he could not just move. He became like a statue. Then the snake slowly slithered. Slithered means move. It moved around his left arm, over his elbow. Okay, dear students, the hood was spread out, and its head was hardly 3 or 4 inches from my face. So it coiled around his left arm, and slowly it raised its hood. Its hood means its padaga, almost 3 or 4 inches, just 2 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches away from his face, next to his face, like శివుడి మెడలో పాము ఉన్నట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది అనమాట. Just it raised its head above, just 2 3, just ఒక 3 4 ఇంచుల దూరంలోనే హిస్ ఫేస్కి దగ్గరలో ఉందన్నమాట. Then understand his condition. It would not be correct to say merely that I sat there holding my breath. I was turned to stone, but my mind was very active. The door opened into darkness. The room was surrounded by darkness. In the light of the lamp, I sat there like a stone image in the flesh. What he says is, I became like a statue. He says it would not be correct to say that merely that I sat there holding my breath. I just not only I held my breath. I totally became like a statue. He says, like a stone statue. My body became like a statue, but my mind was actively working. So I started thinking about how to escape, what ways. I started thinking about the ways to escape. Okay, dear students, my room was he told us the room was isolated one. Around the room, darkness. It was night time, right? After 10 o'clock. He came to room at 10 o'clock. So it was night that time, darkness, totally darkness around. There is a lamp inside. And in this condition, he sat like a statue in the flesh. So even a little move also, the snake gets alerted, and there is a dangerous thing. Definitely there would be dangerous thing. So thinking, so he became like a statue in the flesh. Okay, dear students, I felt then the great presence of the creator of this world and this universe. God was there. Suppose I said something and he did not like it. I tried in my imagination to write in bright letters outside my little heart the words, "Oh God." Then his mind, is active. He said his mind is active. Then he realized, if I did some mistake, if that God doesn't like that, he started thinking about the presence of God, help from God. Generally, human beings, when they have problem, they think about God. Here also he says, now I'm thinking about God, and for God's help, looking for God's help. If in his imagination he says, I feel like writing, "Oh God," in the outer wall of my heart. This is what he says. In his imagination, he is thinking about God and for God's help. Isn't it, dear students? Okay. There was some pain in my left arm. It was as if a thick leaden rod, no, a rod made of molten fire, was slowly but powerfully crushing my arm. The arm was beginning to be drained of all strength. What could I do? So he sat there for a long time, dear students. His hand totally became a leaden rod, a metal rod. He says not only metal rod, even stronger than the metal, made of molten fire, very strong, stronger than metal one. His hand totally, he is not able to move the hand for such a long time. He has held his breath. He sat like a statue. His hand, started dragging. He says, the power of my hand is slowly draining away. It is becoming weak. So my total body became like a statue in a, like a flesh inside, maybe flesh, but I'm unable to move even a little. So total body became like a statue, and my left hand became like a leaden rod. He says leaden rod, but again he says, no, 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 it's not leaden rod, but it's more than that. It's more stronger than that. A molten fire, made of molten fire rod. That's how. What could I do now? The snake is still on his body. At my slightest movement, the snake would strike me. Death lurked 4 inches away. Suppose it struck. what was the medicine I had to take. There were no medicines in the room. I was but a poor, foolish, and stupid doctor. I forgot my danger and smiled feebly at myself. It was such a dangerous thing, dear students. Even a slightest movement, if he tries to make a little move, even to that also, definitely there is a dangerous thing, because the snake, full blooded, that means a strong cobra, sat on his shoulder, coiled around his left arm, and he became totally like a statue. Even the slightest movement, if he moves a little, even a little, definitely the cobra will strike him, no doubt. Isn't it, dear students? The cobra will strike him. Understanding this danger, he started thinking about, if he has any medicine in his room, because he is a doctor. I know he is thinking about whether he has any medicine if the cobra strikes him, if it bites him. Is any medicine available in his room? He thinks he gets no idea about having any medicine of that kind. So he thinks he is really foolish, he is really stupid, because he doesn't have even the medicine in his room. Being a doctor, he has no medicine for snake's bite. So he thinks he is foolish. He thinks he just feels guilty of himself for being doctor, because he doesn't have even a medicine for snake bite. Okay, dear students, it seemed as if God appreciated that. The snake turned its head, it looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. I do not claim that it was the first snake that had ever looked into a mirror, but it was certain that the snake was looking into the mirror. Was it admiring its own beauty? Was it trying to make an important decision about growing a mustache, or using eyeshadow and mascara, or wearing a vermilion spot on its forehead? Oh, what a wonderful thing. Here, understand, there is a twist in it. Then it was all of a sudden, what happened? He was totally tired. His body, keeping like a statue. It was so tiresome. He thought he's almost over. Then it seemed as if God appreciated that. It seemed to him as if God came for his help. Because the snake turned slowly its head towards the mirror. Dear students, do you remember there was a mirror before him? See in this picture, there's a mirror in front of the table. So the snake slowly from his on his from on, from his body, it turned its head onto the mirror. It started looking its own reflection in the mirror, and then its focus was shifted from this condition to its own reflection in the mirror, dear students. The snake turned its head, it looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. Understand, dear students? So, from his body, it looked into the mirror, and then it saw itself in the mirror. Then its concentration, its focus went on to its reflection. Then I do not claim that it was the first snake that had ever looked into a mirror, but it was certain that the snake was looking into the mirror. The doctor says, okay, when it looked itself in the mirror, it was clear that its focus was on its own reflection. He just got a relief, a kind of relief, dear students. So when it looked in when the snake looked its reflection in the mirror, it must be thinking about its own self, he says. Was it admiring its own beauty? Doctor thinks, because the snake's concentration, or the focus of the snake, was on its own reflection. The doctor thinks whether the snake was thinking about its own beauty, because human beings does the same thing, right? When we look into the mirror, what we do is we look at our own reflection and think about our own handsome, our own beauty. That's how we do it. Even the doctor thinks, when the snake looks its reflection in the mirror, was it admiring its own beauty? Doctor thinks so. Was it trying to make an important decision about growing mustache, or using eyeshadow and mascara, or wearing a vermilion spot on its forehead? See, earlier when he looked before the snake, when he looked himself in the mirror, he took some decisions to have neat shape, to have thin line of mustache, to make himself to make himself to look beautiful. That's how he took some decisions, right? Now, when he saw the snake looking at its own reflection, the doctor thinking that the snake maybe might be thinking to get its own touch upon done. Maybe it also wants to grow mustache. Maybe it also wants to apply some shadow, eyeshadow. Eyeshadow means mascara. Mascara means people apply to their eyes, katuka kind of things, right? Or wearing vermilion spot on its forehead, vermilion, red color, a కుంకుమ kind of thing, kunkuma. Forehead నుదుటి మీద పెట్టుకుంటాం కదా మనం అట్లా. మేబీ ద స్నేక్ మస్ట్ బి థింకింగ్ అబౌట్ టు అప్లై mascara to its eyes, or to grow mustache, or to apply to wear vermilion spot, a red, a kunkuma kind of thing on its forehead. This is how the snake may be thinking, doctor says. Okay, next, in the next page, dear students, I did not know anything for certain. What sex was this snake? Was it male or female? I will never know, for the snake unwound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my lap. From there, I crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection at closer quarters. Really sudden, a very good thing happened here, dear students. So I did not know what the snake was must be thinking, certainly, and even whether to grow mustache, whether to apply vermilion spot. I did not know whether the snake was male or female, he says. If it is male, it must be thinking about its mustache. If it is female, definitely it must be thinking about mascara, or it may be to apply vermilion spot on its forehead. That's how he says. I'm not very sure about whether the snake is male or female, he says. I will never also know about it. దాని గురించి మనం తెలుసుకునే ప్రయత్నం కూడా we cannot do it. That's why he says. But for the snake unwound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my lap. Funny thing, dear students, interesting thing. It happened when the snake started looking at its own reflection in the mirror. It slowly, from his shoulders, it crept onto the table. Slithered means moved into his lap, from there onto the table. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection at closer quarters. Maybe it wanted to enjoy its reflection from closer quarters. That means go near the mirror and to look at itself very closer, to look at its own reflection very closer. Maybe the snake moved. That's why the snake moved nearer to the leaving, slowly creeping from doctor's shoulder to his laps, and from there onto the table. I was no mere image cut in granite. I was suddenly a man of flesh and blood. Still holding my breath, I got up from the chair. I quietly went out through the door into the veranda. From there, I leapt into the yard and ran for all I was worth. Thank God, he is relieved. So when the snake slowly moved from his shoulder onto the table, then slowly he felt greatly relieved. Till now, he was a statue, a rock statue, isn't it? But slowly he says, I was no mere image cut in granite now. Now I'm not a granite. Granite means a stone, a hard stone. So he says, as soon as the snake slowly moved onto the table, I was not a statue now. Slowly, now I became a man with flesh and blood, and still holding my breath. Slowly, I doctor says, he moved away from the chair and came out, and from the veranda, and from the veranda he went out, ran out, to save himself from the snake. This is how what happened, he described. And the people in his group who are listening to this story, what they say is, phew, each of us heaved a sigh of relief. All of us lit beadies. Somebody asked, Doctor, is your wife very fat? So when all of the group members who heard, who listened to this story, doctor's experience, they they feel relieved. Okay, the snake did not do anything. That did not the snake did not strike you anymore. Thank God. That's how few is an expression. A strong expression to exclamatory expression to say somebody is relieved. So here, great relief for all of the listeners. They listened to his experience and they all lit bds, and one among them asked, doctor, is your wife very fat? A funny thing, isn't it? So doctor somewhere in the middle of the story, he told us he never wanted to marry a slim woman. He wanted to marry a fat woman for his reasons. His valid reason was, so if he does any mistake, his wife must not be able to run behind him and catch him. That's what his valid reason. So when somebody asked, Doctor, is your wife fat? Then he says, no. The doctor said, God willed otherwise. My life companion is a thin, reedy person with the gift of a sprinter. It happened otherwise. God willed otherwise. That's what there is a saying. If man proposes, God disposes. So he wanted to have a fat wife, but it happened otherwise. God did otherwise. God gave him a thin lady, a reedy, unpleasant. Reedy means unpleasant. Very with the quality of a sprinter. Sprinter means a fast runner. She can, she is able to run very fast. A very thin lady. God gave him a thin woman who is able to run very fast as his wife. He says, God willed otherwise. Someone else asked, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? this Somebody asked, because he escaped from the room, he ran out. Then the other's question was, Doctor, when you ran out, did the snake follow you? Did the snake come behind you? The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately, I smeared oil all over all over myself and took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning, about 8:30, I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there. But we found we had little to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. The room had been cleaned out, but not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. Doctor says, when somebody's question whether the snake followed him when he escaped from the room, the doctor says, no, I did not see. Yes, I ran and ran till I reached my friend's house. He went out, he started running. He did not see behind, he did not see back till he reached until he reached his friend's house. He just went to his friend's he ran to his friend's room. Then he applied some oil kind of thing and took a bath and changed his dress or clothes. That's how he slept that night there only. The next morning, he took his friend and some other people also at 8:30 to this room to see whether the snake was still there or to get his things back. That's how he went to his room along with some people and his friend also. But when they went to the room, what happened is unexpected thing happened. He says some thief entered his room and took away all his belongings except one thing. That one thing was his, a thing of insult to him, he says. A thing of insult. He took away all the things except one thing. That one thing, why he must not have taken it is a question of insult to him. He says, what was that? Let's see. What was that? I asked. Somebody asked him, what was that thing that the thief did not take away with him? The doctor said, my vest, the dirty one. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. A funny thing. So, to the question, what was that the thief did not take away with him? The doctor says it was my vest. He said in the beginning itself, not so white banyan. Vest means banyan. So he had wore it for a very long time, and the banyan, the vest was not so clean. The thief did not take that banyan, that vest along with him. He took away all the things except this uncleaned or unwashed or not so white vest. He left it in the room itself. The doctor says the thief must be having good sense of cleanliness, he says. So even to the thief also, he has some kind of cleanliness, such a sense of cleanliness, he says. That rascal, what would have happened if he had taken, the doctor says, what would have happened if he had taken the that banyan also, that vest also, and used it after washing? It's a funny thing. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? Somebody asked. The doctor laughed. I have never seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. So he says, no, I have never seen that snake. And I learnt that even a snake, when it observes its own reflection in a mirror, it lost for its it will last for its beauty, is what the story is all about. Is a funny thing, dear student. Is it not, dear students? How do you like this story? Is it not enjoyable? Did you enjoy it? The snake and the mirror under the unit humor. Okay, dear students, have a good time. Thank you.